Hey guys, cold.brew here. Welcome back to Washer of Realms. Stage 8 of the XP raid has now been released. If you manage to clear normal chapter 9, right? Chapter 9, 8. Specifically, this unlocks. Is it worth it? For the majority of players, I will say this is going to be very difficult to actually beat. If you just see the recommended power, stage 7, you need 120,000, which is, I would be able to beat this with 1 or even 2 champions beforehand heroes. And then now on stage 8, this has now become to 615,000 power. 4 times, more than 4 times as hard, okay? And I've managed to make a team, finally managed to make a team. I was recording my attempt at an earlier time, but I managed to make a team that now can clear this at 100%. Should you do it? Well, you really need to have proper gear on the majority of your champions that you're going to be placing in the field. The problem with that is that they all need to be also synergized together, and I've been using some epics to help me with that. Whether that will be beneficial to you, I'll explain in the end with some numbers so that it's more clear. But obviously, if you don't have the power to beat this one, or not even close, then you'll need to make some adjustments with epics. But it does have some benefits. The 20,000 XP compared to the 10,500 is way more efficient in stage 8 than stage 7. We're talking 36% more XP per energy spent on stage 8. So there is some room for failure in the sense of the completion rate that you have at the end of the run. You see, instead of 100%, you might see 90% or 80% if you're still struggling a little bit. That will actually be, it will remain to be efficient, okay? You can still farm stage 8, even if you clear that 80% completion. So lots of those little goblins at the end, they run off to the portal. That is still going to be efficient for you to farm stage 8. And that is strictly on the numbers of XP potions, okay? I'm not talking about any of the loot that you might get compared to stage 7. More runs on stage 7, you might get more 1 stars or 2 stars or 3 star hero loot. So I don't know about the drop rate on 8, but I assume it's way higher. So you'll be getting more even though you'll be doing less runs, if that makes sense. Anyway, let me show you guys my team. This is my team, 553,000 power. We're talking about 60,000 less than the required amount. I do have 3 Lord heroes in the team, but you'll see in the end on how much of that is really the Lord heroes. Of course, with better gear, you don't need to have the Lord heroes, but the Lord heroes give you some crazy faction bonuses that adjust your stats to higher amounts. So the 553,000 power I have is actually way higher than that because of the Lord bonuses. I understand that, but I'm just saying I've been using 2 epics that, well, 3 epics that really helped me push this, and without these epics, and especially Mole, I couldn't have done this. So I'm talking Mole very specifically because his awakening 1, number 1 point, can freeze. So if you can freeze the enemies, it really helps with damage and how much damage you do to them. After that, the awakenings kind of help. The slow really helps as well, but you don't need to have all the awakenings to get him as useful as he can be. It's really his ultimate that really changes things, and the fact that when he attacks, he can inflict a defense reduction. So minus 10% defense on enemies. So that is quite useful for when attacking with Mole. So I would recommend using Mole in this one. It really helps you push through, and especially the freeze, well, you'll calculate when to use it. Helps you control the waves way more, because the waves are very heavy in defense and heavy in health, so it takes a long time to drop them down. And I even use like single target heroes right here, like my Cetron, which is basically built only for guild boss and other stuff, but not really for the XP raid. XP raid is where Razak will shine, and you'll see the run in a bit. But let's go in there. I'll show you guys a manual run on how I do this. I even use heroes such as Cyrene at the start to get 1 or 2 ultimates off, so I can get some cost quicker, because I'm using very heavy cost units for this one. And I even have this gear on her, the cost gear, which reduces cost by 1, so that helps drop her down a little bit quicker. And I use also my Dolores, which I've awakened to the maximum using awakening stones, by the way, not copies of her. Yeah, she helps get through with a lot more damage on my hero. So I'll show the hero's gear in the end. I'll do this on manual, so it might not even be 100% this time around, but my auto run is 100%, so we'll have to have that in mind. So I drop in Araka immediately. She's a ranged melee. I'll drop in Wrath, and I'll drop in Cyrene right at the back. I'll pop the ultimate immediately there, and now I'm waiting for 19 costs so I can bring down my Twin Fiend. I'll place him right here so that Dolores can reach him. And I'm trying to beat down on this guy. I'm not going to use my ultimate just yet. I can drop in Dolores as well. Then I'll pop in the ultimate immediately, and then Cyrene gives me lots of cost back so I can actually drop my range hero as well there. I'm not going to use my ultimate just yet. And then I drop my next hero, which is going to be Maul. I'll drop him here so he has an immediate attack on the enemies there. Let's drop in the ultimate. You see a lot of damage coming through because Dolores is also boosting and helping us push through here. Now I'm popping my other ultimate. You see on how slow they are. You see how slow they are. That is also the I could have not frozen them, but it's okay. Now with Cyrene, I'll get her back so I can drop in my final unit, and this might be close, but we'll see. Drop in the ultimate there. I might keep my ultimate for Twin Fiend, getting this guy down, and this is the final wave. So let's start popping through our ultimates, and we'll see how this does. Let's pop in Shetram as well once he starts. Come on, sometimes this bugs out and I hate it. Come on. Is this gonna be close? Yeah, it was close. 8 seconds, actually worse than my other run. I will not get my shortest clearance record. This is not the shortest clearance. I've done it way better on my auto run. So I'm not gonna upload the battle data, and I'll click next. So that was an 100% XP run. And as I've mentioned at the start, because of that energy to XP ratio, it's actually, you can actually clear it at 80%. It's still gonna be more efficient to do this run. So have that in mind when you're doing the XP stage. I understand it's gonna be very, very difficult. I don't really recommend even trying this out if you don't have anywhere close to the power of the heroes or the gear that I'm gonna show you, because stage 7 can still be okay. You can still push on this one. You will be a little bit inefficient, but if you really need to push on every bit of seconds that matter in order to clear this, you're gonna suffer. At the beginning I was clearing it at what, 50%, 60%, until I moved around some other heroes, tried some different things. But really, the Mole, Dolores, and Cyrene, those 3 heroes are what helped me push this, not everything else. Of course, Razak is amazing with the big AoE, and Mole with the freeze there comes in clutch to help with a lot of the damage. So let me show you the gear that I had on pretty much everyone of my highest. So Araka really going in heavy with damage, 15.7k with 98% crit and 241 crit damage. I'm focusing on also having good sets, so I did have some good sets on her. She's not fully maxed out, but some good sets on her, like the Calamity set and the Curse set, helps with these specific encounters with so many enemies. Shetram, pretty much the same. He has the crit damage set and the Curse set. This helps for this one, but really Shetram kind of sucks on single target. I should have shown you the damage at the end. I'll do another run now. I'll show you guys the damage at the end. You'll see who is first and who is second, comparing the gear that I have. So Razak here, honestly, with not the best gear, not the best crit rate, not the best crit damage, but still worth it. I could have pushed a little bit more. 14.5k attack, 2.9 interval, kind of slow, 90% crit rate. I want to push that higher, 255 crit damage. And he, of course, gets the benefit from Araka with her Lord skill. That is huge for my boy Razak. My Morrigan, not so good gear with 13.7k, 80% crit to 18 crit damage. Same thing with Twin Fiend, not the best gear ever. 13.8k attack, more heavy on attack is what I'm doing. 100% crit and 215 crit damage. Then which one else did I use? Well, I used Wrath, but Wrath doesn't do that much, even though he's placed from the start. He's at 16,000 attack, 100% crit, 212 crit damage. He helps a little bit, but honestly, there's so many targets that these melee heroes don't really do much, except for Araka, which is an insane lord. I think it's the strongest lord that I have. I've used her for everything. She's just amazing. My Dolores, very I was undervaluing on how strong Dolores is, but even though with level 12 gear, some 16 gear, she brings in so much damage boost for the team. Is crazy. I even have her with ancestral teachings at maximum, which is easier to get. Shout out to my bucket there for a video. He went in heavy with calculating which artifacts are worth it and which are not. So I'm just basing that on his video. I didn't have the time to test all that. He has way more experience in this game than I have. And then yeah, her overall attack is 9.4k attack. And then Mole, as I said, the stats on Mole don't really matter. I try to get him at 100% crit, 154 crit damage. I mean, that's the base, really. And 7.9k attack. What I wanted is his ultimate. I wanted his ultimate. I didn't really use any regen gear or, you know, regen per second gear. Didn't find the point for that one. But that's the run, guys. And I hope you find it maybe helpful. Is it worth it? Is it not? It's all up to you. XP, really, after a point, doesn't matter, because you also need the heroes to level them up. So if you're okay with the heroes that you have, you might as well just farm stage 7. Don't break your head over, you know, these kind of runs. Let's do an auto run. These auto runs honestly also break my head, because I've done so many 100% runs where the next time I would try to auto fight, it wouldn't get 100%. I was like, what is happening? So it's these times where maybe one crit, or sometimes the crit doesn't happen, which is what brings in the failure, right? Where one enemy might push through and go away. So maybe if I optimize my gear with 100% crit, I won't have these situations. But we'll see in this one if somebody goes away. Like if Serene dies, look at her health there. I drop her back, and now Mole is probably gonna freeze. Yeah, look at that freeze, so nice. And then the next wave will be the big one, the final wave. Let's see if we clear it at 100%. I'm just watching on the enemies if anything pushes through, but no, looks good. And with 13 seconds on the clock, I don't know why the run I just did on manual with 8 seconds on the clock said it was shortest than this one. This one is shortest, but it's weird. It's weird. Some things in this game seem weird. So 247, we cleared 20,000. We get the XP boost going, the extra from the privilege card, the pay to win card, and we get a 1-star here, plus some bit of overflow right there. Let's look at the overall damage in the end. Look at Razak. Just look at Razak. 22 million damage versus 10 million from Araka, which is placed immediately on the board. Twin Fiend, who gets all the damage from everybody else, barely did 6 million as an AoE. Then Wrath, who also was placed at the start. Morrigan barely did anything. Same thing for my boy Setram. And then Mole with 2.6, okay? Here, if Mole had the gear of my Setram, I could probably see some way better numbers coming out of him, because the gear difference between these two is insane. My Setram does like 20 million on Guild Boss or something. But here, because he's single target, he can't do much. He's not. I just didn't know which hero I could use. Maybe somebody else. But for the mages that I have, maybe Iona, that epic, I can use if I get her to 60. But for now we're okay. But the carry that Razak does here is insane. And yeah, if you don't have all of these heroes, it's gonna be even crazier to clear this at 100%. So as I said, 80% or higher, you're gonna be fine. Actually, it's, if I'm being very honest about the numbers, it's 73% and higher, but just aim for at least 80%. I'm gonna say 80% to be really worth the trouble. If you can't get 80%, just drop in on a 7. Don't think about it too much. You can even level up heroes while you're doing 7. You use 2 heroes, and then the other ones are unleveled, and while you're doing the runs, you get the full XP instead of the overflow XP, which is 30% of the real number. Okay, so that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.